Hello everybody, I am Crystal Clear 101. Welcome back to my channel. We have a toy review for today, and this time I'll be looking at the John Matrix figure from NECA. This figure was released in late 2015. This is a general release, and the suggested retail on this is $21.99. Now let's take a look at the packaging. Now this is part of the Ultimate line that NECA's been releasing since late 2015. Starting off with the Ultimate version of the T-800 from Terminator 2. If I remember, this was the second figure as part of the Ultimate line. And they decided to do John Matrix from Commando, another Schwarzenegger character, which I think was a fantastic idea. First off, front of the box, we have Schwarzenegger as John Matrix. Schwarzenegger's name, the name of the movie it's based from. Go over to the side, it says Schwarzenegger, Commando 30th Anniversary, NECA, and Real Toys. On the reverse side, we have some product shots of John Matrix, of Schwarzenegger's character. Matter of fact, the face on this is so good, my camera's recognizing this as a face. It's actually focusing on the face. But for the brief little description, it reads, retired Delta Force operative Colonel John Matrix lives a secluded life with his daughter. When she is kidnapped by a brutal former team member seeking revenge, Matrix must travel to South America and get her back. Somewhere, somehow, someone's going to pay. Now, this shows some really cool, some really cool product shots. And they're basically showing off every single accessory that the figure comes with. Now the other side says the same thing as the other side. And one neat little feature is this does have a flap, which does show a shot of Schwarzenegger's character holding an M60 in a ready pose, as well as the contents of the set itself, which I think is also pretty neat. But enough talking about the set itself. Let's go ahead and open up John Matrix and see just how cool this figure really is. And now let's go ahead and get a better look at John Matrix here. As usual, let's start by giving a 360-degree view of the figure itself. Even though I'm not as familiar with Commando as I am with some other Schwarzenegger's other films, upon seeing this figure, he just looked so cool, I had to have him. I am a Schwarzenegger fan, and for me, Commando, it's one of his classic films. I had to have him. Now, as far as what I like about the figure, number one, this looks like John Matrix. Especially more specifically towards the end of the film, his more iconic look, especially from the theatrical poster, where it shows him with a tactical vest just loaded to the gills with guns, knives, grenades, shotgun shells, a little bit of everything. Now, let's go ahead and start off by looking at that face sculpt. Now, there is that face sculpt that NECA is well known for. That captures the likeness of Arnold Schwarzenegger perfectly. They even went so far as to capture the camouflage he started to apply to his skin, his arms, his chest, his face. I mean, they captured the look of Schwarzenegger perfectly. Now, as far as the vest itself is concerned, as we can see, there are 4 grenades, there's shotgun shells, we see numerous pouches, we see a Bowie knife right here, which, by the way, is removable. My only complaint, and I do mean my only complaint, is that considering the thickness of the blade and the width of his hands, he does not have any extra hands. It sits very loosely in his hand. Now, even his other hand, as you can see, there's way too much room. So it is not going to stay in his hand. The fact they made the Bowie knife removable from the scabbard was a nice little touch. I just wish they would have at least gave an extra hand for him to actually properly hold that knife. Also, the various little straps. He does have a thigh holster with a removable two-toned Desert Eagle, which he can hold, almost aim it properly is the scary thing. Also, a LED wristwatch rather, on his left wrist. Going on to the back of the figure itself, we can see the many stitches along the back of the vest. These two knives right back here, although those are sculpted in, those are not removable. Just the overall attention to detail on this figure is nice. I love the seams that they did for the pants, the details they did for the boots. I mean, overall, and you can see the copyright information right there and right there. Overall, they did a fantastic job as far as just capturing the likeness of John Matrix. Now, his articulation, it's NECA quality. It's on par with NECA's other 7-inch figures, which I'll go over in just a couple minutes. But you can have him in a multitude of different poses. You can have this figure posing however you like with the various accessories he comes with. Speaking of accessories, let's go ahead and take a look at those. First off, he does come with the Valmont M7883 automatic rifle. It's basically a finished version of the RPK. He does come with the M202A1 flash missile launcher. And what's neat is not only is this marked like a real M202A1, US Army, M202A1, marked again right there. But this can actually extend. It can be closed in, it can be extended, whichever you prefer. It's got a fold down pistol grip with trigger. As he knows how the holes are actually recessed, well, there's two more accessories that comes with this. First off is a missile. And there's also this piece right here. If you notice, the back of the missile itself has a hole, and this has a peg. Yes, this is missile propellant. And the way the base is shaped, yes, it can go in any one of those 4 holes. So you can have John Matrix shouldering this, and you can have the missile prop like it's firing out of the launcher. How cool is that? That is just freaking sweet. The fact that NECA's gone this far. And to me, that is absolutely awesome. Only other accessory is he does come with this M60E3, which he does end up taking from one of the, I don't know about henchmen, but from one of the guys tries to kill him in the shed. Now, I just wish they would have gave like a fake belt of ammo to go with this thing. Because right there, there's a hole right there to actually slide some ammunition in there. I mean, it would have been cool to actually have this in his right hand, a belt of ammo, have it wrapped around his left wrist right here. But I mean, overall, if I had to pick any other accessories to go with him, obviously he did not come with the shotgun. He did not come with the Uzi. But the fact they gave him the core weapons, the more iconic weapons he uses, I think it's actually pretty nice. But as far as how he lists with some of these different accessories, the only complaint with any of them I have really is his Valmat M7883. My only complaint is, especially my first time trying to get the weapon itself in, is that it was such a tight fit that it actually started to break the trigger on this rifle. And there we go. Now, you gotta admit, that just looks cool. But again, you can have them armed with any one of these weapons you like. I just want to show off some of the weapons. Now, like I was saying about the trigger, let's see if I can't zoom in on that. As you can see, there is some white stress marks towards the very top of the trigger. That was from my first time getting him to actually hold it properly. That's just how tight of a grip he does have on the on some of the weapons. So when you do decide to get this guy, just be careful with this accessory in particular, because I can see that trigger snapping off very easily. Now, if I had to give any negatives about the figure, I just wish he would have came with an extra hand, more of a closed hand like so he could properly hold that Bowie knife. And just to make it a little more complete, I just wish he would have came with a couple more weapons. But just the number of accessories he's been given with this figure, I think is good enough. But overall, I mean, this is just an excellent representation of Schwarzenegger's character from Commando. Weapons and accessories include a two-toned Desert Eagle, an M202A1 missile launcher, which also comes with a separate missile and propellant to simulate the missile being fired, an M60E3 general purpose machine gun, a Volmet M7883 light automatic rifle, and a removable Bowie knife. An articulation for John Matrix consists of a ball-jointed head, ball-hinged shoulders, ball-hinged elbows, ball-jointed wrists, ball-jointed waist, ball-hinged hips, ball-hinged knees, and ball-hinged ankles. And overall, what is my impression on the NECA Ultimate John Matrix? Simply put, if you're a fan of Commando, if you're a fan of Schwarzenegger, then this figure is an absolute must-have. Because the last time I know of a Commando figure being made was back in 1985 when the movie itself came out. So we're talking over 30 years since really anything for Commando was made. But if you're a fan of Schwarzenegger, if you're a fan of Commando, then this figure is an absolute must-have for your collection. This bears the likeness of Schwarzenegger perfectly. This comes with just the right number of accessories. And on top of that, this just looks flat out cool. Even if you don't decide to take the figure out of the box, it just looks sweet in the box. So I highly recommend this to fans of Schwarzenegger and Commando, whichever one you're more of a fan of. But this will wrap up my review on the NECA Ultimate John Matrix Commando action figure. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.